The ballots are in, and it looks like Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will now continue with his presidency. Following the landslide victory, the incumbent leader and his party are now even more strongly set in the government, though opposition parties are complaining about the conduct of the vote count. The biggest question in Israel, however, is how relations will be affected. Returning to the studio with the answer is founder and executive director of the Israel Institute for Strategic Studies, Dr. Martin Sherman. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me again.
So what are your initial reactions to Erdogan's victory as president and in parliament?
Well, let me confess that back in the 1990s, I was a very strong proponent of close Turkish relationships. In fact, I even wrote a joint article with someone who was the deputy commander of the Turkish armed forces and was the person who arrested Erdogan when he was mayor of Istanbul and was later arrested by Erdogan himself. I also hosted the former head of the Secret Service, Turkey's Secret Service here. So I must say that Turkey has undergone a complete metamorphosis. The Turkey of the 1990s is not the Turkey today. The only thing they have in common is their geographical position. Turkey back then was a secular democracy with a Western orientation. Today it's completely different. It's no longer looking westward. It's undergoing an increasing process of Islamization. And I think, in principle, the future for Israel, barring surprises, is bleak. And I think this also underlines the short-sighted, in my opinion, if I may say so, imbecilic attempt at a rapprochement with Turkey, because the relationships will be defined not by what Israel does, but by what Turkey has become.
Now, Erdogan has been in power now for 15 years. Before that, he was barred from politics and thrown in jail. The question is, how did Turkey get to where it is today? How did Erdogan do it?
Well, I must admit, this just shows what a formidable opponent Erdogan is, because as you say, 15 years ago, he was in jail and banned from politics, and he's managed to come back from that. Not only does that, he's completely defanged the Turkish army. People should recall that not long ago, the Turkish army had a constitutional duty to keep Turkish secular and Western orientated, and Erdogan has undone that completely. In the past, the Turkish government actually overthrew governments that were leaning towards an Islamic orientation. So this is an extraordinary achievement by Erdogan, and it just shows what a formidable foe he is.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting to see, what approach Israel takes to him being, re-elected here.
Sure.
But thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sherman.